Hello, everyone. It is the Redmen Podcast. Did you just miss your mouth there?
Yeah, I just
literally went for one last swig of tea and missed your mouth the moment we went live. Outstanding. Look, you took your shot. And you missed.
What an intro.
Fantastic.
What an intro.
As you may or may not be able to tell, James Sutton joins us, the legend James Sutton, the man with tea down his chin. And we have got returning to the podcast for the first time in far too long. We have got the star of the Have a Word podcast, stand-up comedian extraordinaire, Mr. Adam Rowe as well. What a team.
What a lineup.
What a team. I might just sit back and just let you talk for a bit. This is going to be great. Yes, we have got a podcast to do today. I mentioned when we did the build-up show Monday that we'd done the final word for United, having beat Man United 5-0 at the weekend, by the way, at Old Trafford, in case anyone missed that one. If you've missed that one, don't worry, we'll be hammering home that point significantly over the next hour. But we had to go straight into the build-up for Preston, and who can be asked with that? Who can be asked to talk about Preston in the League Cup?
Do you know what I really, really enjoyed the other day, Jordan? So I watched the game on the telly. I wasn't at the game. And on Sky Sports at the bottom, it said on Tuesday, Liverpool, and the picture was a Preston player and Mo Salah. And I was like, I don't think he's going to be fucking playing that game. I don't think you can be using his image rights to promote Liverpool versus Preston this week. He's not going to be on the pitch.
I'd be amazed if Jürgen's there. So yes, we are playing Preston. It's the midweek game this week, and we will be doing content. There is a build-up show there for it if you want. But we've got a time of going. This is like 10:30 Tuesday morning. We've got Preston Wednesday night. That gives us another day and a half to just revel in this whole thing, because you don't. But we very rarely beat Man United, generally speaking. Anyway, you don't go and beat them by 5-0 in their own yards and then expect us to not crow about it to the nth degree. So we're going to do that largely for this podcast, and I think we're all on board with that. And I just want to caveat all of this, by the way, is that this might come across as a bit classless, maybe, to some people. It might come across as poor karma, or it might come across as, I don't know, it's just like, it's only one win or whatever. I genuinely don't give a shit. I've had to put up with them pricks for my entire life, and I had to deal with them winning title after title and heartbreaking win after heartbreaking win.
They ruined our childhood.
They did. They did.
Paul, they deserve the next hour.
And also, they for the past few years have sung a song about a Liverpool player falling over in a game against Chelsea that handed Manchester City a title.
Yes.
So if they're allowed to sing about that for years, we can at least spend 4 days having a good fucking laugh about what we've just done to them in their own garden.
Yes.
It's my overriding feeling from the match was that it was hilarious.
Yeah.
I couldn't stop.
I burst out laughing when the fourth went in.
You're a very funny man, but you might have to just give up now, because nothing you do will ever be funnier than that 90 minutes.
There was no funnier moment than Cristiano Ronaldo, their star player, their golden boy, the wandering son has come back, the prodigal son returns, and they're getting absolutely tonked, and he gets to have his one moment to shine, and he scores his goal, and at least he can hold his head up high, do his big see you celebration, and then and I feel like he's contributed somehow towards something positive, and then to have it fucking chalked off for offside. It's just delicious. You couldn't have pitched it any better.
I loved that bit. That really made me laugh. I genuinely burst out laughing. Not even like a forced one when the fourth went in, because it was just funny at that point. My favourite bit, I think it was Henderson and Trent on like the 82nd minute. They were both just stood in the centre circle, just tapping it to each other.
Yeah.
That was so calm. Like, I seen Carragher after the game on Sky doing his interview, and he was like, United's down to 10 men, you got to go and get 7-8 goals. The fact that Jurgen Klopp had seen 2 players go off injured and go, lads, for this last 20 minutes, let's just make it sad. Let's not even get a sixth. Yeah. Don't go near them. Don't let them kick you. Just literally tiptoe tap it to each other. If you want to jog every now and then so you don't cramp up, fine, I can live with that. But that's as far as it goes.
You want it to be, and to that point, there's I said, with 25 minutes left to go, just call it here. And I was like, Chris was like, no, don't. I'm like, actually, yeah, you're right. Because as much as we also had to just sit, it was, it became a non-contest by that point. You're dead right. The fact that the slow, inexorable emptying of Old Trafford, where there's a degree to which football fans, and I agree with this, is that you've got to take your licks. Because the satisfaction of getting the wins is exacerbated by how much heartache you've had to go through to get there to some extent. So when you're getting battered, I think you've just got to sit there and take it sometimes. But I like the fact that it was so boring that even like some entrenched ones would have gone. They're starting to look at the watch and thinking, I could be in front of the telly.
The ball.
Yeah, I could be in front of the telly watching something else. I could be catching up on the Bake Off in half an hour. You know what I mean? And thinking of joyous things instead. Just it's great. Right, we'll talk about isolated incidents from it in a minute. We've got a kick-off question that comes from the Norwegian Viking FPL_Norwegian 5 or V, whichever. If you're not into the whole Roman numerals thing. If Ole was to get sacked after Sunday, who would you have preferred to have won 2-0 if it meant he would stay in the job? Because we had these debates, Adam, pre-game, and it wasn't, are Liverpool going to win? It was like, what's the best way for us to win? Which I thought was quite indicative of how the game was. We felt the game was going to go. Let's say, and it looks like he's going to stay, but just in the terms of hypothetics, if they turn around, if you'd woken up Monday morning and he was gone, would you have regretted us going so heavy? Would you rather have done something that drew this out a bit longer?
No. I sort of, touching on what we were just talking about before, like in my own head, I was like, maybe that's what Jurgen's doing with this last 20 minutes. He's like, don't put 7 past him. He can live with 5. Do you know what it is, right? He's pathetic, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Like, he's never going to win anything of significance. He might win a Carabao Cup accidentally as Man United manager. He might stumble across that if they leave him there for long enough. He's never going to win a title. He's never going to win a Champions League. It's just not going to happen. So, as a Liverpool fan, you want him to be there as long as possible. However, he's not going to be. He isn't going to be. He's going to get sacked at some point. And they're not going to win anything this season now. They're already out the title race. They've got no chance in Europe. There's no manager that can come in and... Tuchel did a really good job with Chelsea last year and they did go on to win it, but I don't see that happening at Man United, even if they replace him this second. Yeah. So, us being the team that got him sacked, and I found that even funnier, and also winning 2-0 to keep him in a job wouldn't have been giving us these 4 joyous days.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It's a bit like being offered the best blowjob of your life, or being told that you might have some really good sex.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You might. And that's the point. It's like the Ole stuff might get, drawing that out. We might live to regret this, but I don't think I'll ever be able to regret seeing Liverpool beat Man United 5-0.
Football's about stories, and it's about, you know what I mean? It's about moments, and it's about things that you can tell your kids hopefully in the future, or things you can talk about in 18 months, 2 years down the line with your mates. Do you remember when we went to Old Trafford and just absolutely bullied them?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And if it's a 2-0, you go, wow, that was
we still talk about 4-1. We still laugh about Andrea Dosena.
Oh my God, that was beautiful. Yeah. That was the last goal, wasn't it? Yeah. Fabulous. Yeah, so for me, I'd much prefer it for us to win 5-0, have some stories, have some things to talk about, rather than it being a 2-0 and him being in a job. Because with the best will in the world, even if he loses his job tomorrow, for example, like Adam was saying, it doesn't matter what happens to the end of the season. Like, they're not gonna, they're not.
And he's definitely not going to be there at the start of next season. It's not. They're not going to do that.
Yeah,
they're not.
No chance. So it doesn't really make any difference, other than it's just a really nice story to talk about in the future.
Yeah, I mean, look, to the point that like Chelsea have the best examples of this. If they've got their recent history post Mourinho is littered with guys who come in for halfway through a season and gone and got the best out of them. Rafa came in and did it. Di Matteo did it. Tuchel's done it as well. They've often ended in European silverware as well, which is quite funny. But yeah, it's that thing of Gary. It's the fact that Gary Neville goes. We'll talk about Gary Neville because I want to talk about his response in depth and detail because it's just amazing. Because I think he's quite a good pundit, but I love the fact that he tries to be bipartisan, he tries to be above it all, but he's not. So when he gets dragged into the mire of being like he's the voice for Manchester United, I find it Oh, so satisfying. Right, we're going to take a very short break. So we've got Adam Rowe in. He is back. This isn't the first time we've had him in ages. He came in to do an In Conversation with, part of our new series of guest interviews. Here's a little clip from that.
And then started in January, we were recording it in his spare room. We were recording it on the cameras, but only to put a short clip out. It wasn't for the full episodes. And then the pandemic hit, 12 episodes in. So we said to the listeners, we had like 2,000 listeners or whatever, we're going to have to stop and get jobs unless you want to support us on Patreon. Now, there won't be any benefits to this, but we are going to do an episode every day. So if you want us to do that, you're going to have to chuck us a bit of money. And like 400 people signed up like in a few days. And we were like, right, we can sort of survive on that for a few weeks because that's what we thought the pandemic was going to be. And that was it, really. It started sort of making a bit of money. So we were like, okay, we can keep going. And then towards the end of July, when it was like, we're going to give you the summer, pandemic-wise, you're going to eat out to help out, all that. We went, shall we just take a big gamble and buy a studio and just do it up now and get well ahead of the game? Because every other comedian's trying to do a podcast. They're not necessarily taking off as much as this one has. But even then, our thing was small, and still is now, really, relatively speaking. Bought the studio in Runcorn. It's halfway between my house and Dan's. Done it up, and then that's when things went insane. Because we were able to put full 4K episodes on YouTube. We were able to use the 4K footage to make sure the clips we put out on TikTok and Instagram are always HD, no matter what format we put them in. And aesthetically, it looks great.
Yes, check out the In Conversation with Adam Rowe. He's not just a funny person; he's actually a real person as well. You know what I mean?
It's good though, wasn't
it? Yeah, it was.
Have a good chat,
good old gav about life, the Reds, the universe, and everything, and obviously the success of the Have a Word podcast. It's absolutely gone stratospheric in the last 12 months, and all the stuff and that. Yeah, so go and check that out. Streaming now on Redmen Plus over on the RedmenTV.com. We did Paddy the Baddie the other week as well. We had John Achterberg the week before that. So yeah, and there's plenty more to come as well. So yeah, all really good stuff. Go and check them all out. Yes, the more Man United, because this is where we are. This is how good our lives are. I want to talk. I got so much satisfaction from seeing Gary Neville having to front up all the problems at Manchester United, and you know, and it was exacerbated by Paul Scholes, because Scholes came out and basically was brutally honest in the midweek and said this is going to happen. Prognosticator of prognosticators. He actually only the second most popular thing he went viral for that last week, but the less said about the other one, the better. Really,
he's really lucky he said that last week.
Yeah,
otherwise the other one would be much bigger.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, if United weren't as big a football club, Paul Scholes would have a lot of questions to answer this week.
If that match had been a 0-0 draw, that's all. Scholes just gone off.
But the fact that Scholes comes out and just calls it how it is, and Gary Neville's there, I think he needs to. I don't know. I just, first of all, it's funny because Carragher's clearly like a pig in shit, because they both know how to play the game. They both know what goes viral. So they know what you've got to do to make people go wild for what you're talking about, and they both know winding each other up is a big part of that. So Carragher just sat there, just going, yeah, but over every point was just. Again, just absolutely delightful.
But he's lost credibility for me now, Gary Neville. Like you part of your job as a pundit is to be impartial. And if you and everybody in the entire fucking world, not just the football world, the entire world can see that all of the problems right now can be fixed. Not fixed, but ultimately can you're moving in the right direction if you get rid of Ollie. And for him to not criticise his mate and to go, no, it's not. It's problems with the board, and it's problems with this, and it's problems with that player, and it's trying to fit Pogba in, and is it a problem with Ronaldo? And it's bollocks, mate. Unless you come out and go, actually, yeah, he's just not up to the job. I don't know how you're supposed to have respect for that.
Yeah. I just like the idea of just like him going, and I'm going to be honest with you, I'm just not going to talk about. I'm not going to get at me mate. And it's like, that's lovely and it's noble, but it's literally not what we're paying you for.
Yeah, exactly.
Go on, Adam. Go on. You're going to go to bat for Gary Neville.
I really like Gary Neville, right? In general, I think he's one of the best pundits in the country. And I think this, like, it's perfect. It's hilarious. It doesn't have to be like he's lost credibility for me, because I don't think he has. I think this is such a big blind spot for him that he's obviously going to have a problem with it. If Gerrard was the manager of Liverpool and he was struggling a bit, Carragher wouldn't be as harsh as he is on everyone else. Yeah. We'd all be like that. It's a proper bias. And we should just enjoy that this guy who's normally brilliant at being a pundit and brilliant at that job is now like, but I played with him. Like he can't get past it, and it's
but I was at his kid's christening.
Like it's funny, and yeah, he's watching Carragher just really slowly wind him up. Just like every now and then, just turning the heat up, just 3 more degrees on that oven there.
On Neville's face every time.
Yeah,
it's like
that line in the middle of his face just got deeper and deeper and deeper.
No, it's like if you're like a team of torturers, and then all of a sudden you find yourself on the receiving end of torture from your mate. And you're like, no, we don't do this to me. We do this to other people. And it's like you know, 8-2 carrot. You know what I mean? He's like, no. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean? He's like, you're basically saying, because they've sacked Van Gaal and Mourinho, that they can't sack Ole, because they've had, well, he was the best manager in the world. I mean, for the start, Mourinho wasn't the best manager in the world when United hired him, by the way. He had been sacked twice by Chelsea at that point. But you're right. It's the flawed logic to everything, which is incredible. It's just it's a joy to behold, because again, I've got no bad problem with Gary Neville. My only issue with Gary Neville is I think he just needs to own the fact that he's dead biased a bit more. I think the fact that he tries not to be actually makes me respect him a bit less, because, and I know what he's trying to do, but you can't get away from it. And it's so obvious, because when he talks about Liverpool, like I did the overlap show the other week, and he's got this thing where he's talking about Salah, he's got to go and experience Real Madrid. It's like, shut up, you horribly biased meth, because I recognise it, because I go on United shows and I say things like, when I've been like a pig in shit for the last 6 or 7 years with them being crap. United deserve better than insert their current manager's name, and I don't really care. I'm just saying it because I know it's like it's got enough truth to it that you know, there's enough there that you get to come across like, you know what you're talking about. Really, you just poke them in the ribs.
What I'd really like to happen at United is that they keep Ollie just long enough for all the good managers to have just signed deals with clubs.
Yes.
And they end up with, like, do you know what? We're just going to have to get Tony Pulis in for a bit. We're just going to have to, just like...
The fans will love him, you know.
United, man.
Do you know what I mean?
Won the first Premier League title.
What could be better? He knows the club inside out.
Yeah.
Respected.
They're going to give it to Ronaldo.
Do you reckon?
100%.
Player manager
Ronaldo.
That would be delicious.
And it'll end up being like... It'll be another one of those, like, Fergie is overseeing it again, you know, it's just some bullshit like that, like, but it'll be...
He's such a bigger problem than they realise.
Yeah.
Like, what people are also forgetting, because they're so laughably shite at the minute in every department, they finished second last year. And I know, like, Liverpool had injuries, and, you know, Chelsea had that transition between Lampard and Tuchel. And, you know, the league wasn't necessarily at its strongest last year. They finished second in the Premier League, and they were winning games that they're now losing, right? And games that they're now struggling to win. They were, you know, they were doing all right last year. They were the second best team in the league, despite, like, obviously...
a Liverpool team with Nat Phillips and Reece Williams was the third best team in the league, which probably contextualises it slightly. But go on.
But what I mean is, they're so much worse than they were last year.
Yeah.
Right? And that is Ronaldo. And it's not as obvious to people who don't really understand how football works, because he's scoring all of their goals. Yeah. So they're going, oh no, he's doing all right. He scored 6 goals. Yeah.
No, I said this last night. I said this yesterday. There was a time when Divock Origi played for us pre-injury, and he scored 5 in 5. But he was dog shit in all those games. Yeah. But he scored 5 in 5, so he's done a striker's job, and we narrowly won a few. You know what I mean? It was close, but that's exactly where he's at, and that's the point about why it was so funny him having the goal disallowed, because he didn't even get to come away going, it's everyone. It's all these other wankers who've cocked it up for me. I'm Ronaldo.
Yeah.
I've done my job.
And also, so I think it was one of the commentary team. It might have been Carragher and it might have been Martin Tyler the other day. Said that before Ronaldo come in, it was the last few days of the transfer window, wasn't it? There must have been a plan for Manchester United this year. There must have been, we're going to play this way. And then he's come in, and that entire summer of work has gone out the fucking window because he's playing every game. Yeah. And long may it continue, because he will keep scoring goals, and United will keep losing games that he scores goals in.
Yeah, he is the biggest problem with that club. Well, he's not. Solskjaer's the biggest problem with that club, and he's not. It's the fact that Woodward's still there, and it's not. It's because Alex Ferguson has too much influence by looming over like a ghostly spectre over everything they do. There's a reason Liverpool had to tell Bill Shankly to stop turning up to Melwood because he was too involved with the football club, and they've got his name on the stand, and he's there. Like Kenny gets. The good thing about us and Kenny is we kind of sorted that potential problem out in not a very nice way by moving him on from being the manager again. And Kenny's just such a character. He doesn't care. He doesn't want to tell people what to do. He says to himself, "I'm not asked people. I don't give people advice. People might ask me for things, but I'll talk to them." But he would never. Kenny is not the guy who would go with advice to people.
He hasn't got the presence of Alex Ferguson. He didn't like.
They've got a fucking bat phone like the '60s Batman series. It's the Fergie phone in Old Trafford, and when that rings, I bet alarms go off in that entire stadium so that everyone's just aware that Fergie's calling.
A bottle of whiskey in the sky. Thank you very much. I've been James Thompson.
Genuinely, like he looms so large. And but to the Ronaldo thing, Andros Townsend's taking the piss out of him the other week, and because he's there, because he's gone away for 10 years, and he's come back and he's still good. But he's not the best player, and he never was the best player in the world, by the way. But he's not the best player in the world, and he's not in that category anymore. He's still dead good, but it's just he's a lightning rod. Like there's something just fine about Man United. They haven't got any loathsome figures anymore, or figures of contempt or ridicule, apart from maybe the manager. But we used to hate Gary Neville, and we'd hate Beckham, and we'd hate they've had these players over the years that you just like you hate, and it made you want to kick off at them more. Ronaldo's kind of got that. So if he does good things, you've got someone to hate. But if it goes wrong, you just the laughter is bubbling up underneath.
I just can't understand it. Going back to what Adam was saying before about having a plan over the summer, which you're absolutely right, they must have had. To throw that out of the window when it seems really, really obvious. Look, I've never managed a football club. I don't profess to know everything tactically, but I'm pretty sure I could muddle my way through that team and come up with a better idea than Ollie's doing. Like you've got a wealth of talent there. You've got they've got Jadon Sancho. They can't fit into that team, which is fucking bananas. Yeah, because he's probably the rightful heir to Mbappe. I think he's that exciting a player. To have someone like Cristiano Ronaldo that you could bring on in the 70th minute and just go and do a load of mad Cristiano Ronaldo shit, just terrifying. Imagine if imagine being an opposition player and seeing Ronaldo coming on. You fucking head's
But
gone.
Instead, you've got 60 minutes of him walking around with his hands on his hips.
Yeah, exactly. Looking at everyone else like.
This was probably discussed in the contract thing, wasn't it? He's gone, look, I'll come here, but I'm fucking playing. And they've gone, no, yes, sir.
No, but fucking Ferguson come out the other week when Ollie didn't start him, and the players, and it was one of the ex-players saying, you've got to start your best players. And then Ferguson came out and said, you've got to start your best players. Well, he's basically it's gone to Ollie. Yeah, go and ruin your Man United career because you've got two choices. And I said this yesterday, but we're repeating. If you don't play Ronaldo and you lose, you've fucked it because Fergie's told you what you should be doing, and you've gone against the wishes of Sir Alex Ferguson and all the ex-players. So basically, the fans will crucify you. Or you stick with Ronaldo and he totally upsets everything you're trying to do on the pitch, and you probably lose anyway, but at least you'll live a little bit longer because you've followed the line. He's got teeny tiny shriveled little raisin balls. He's the way he's gone this way,
hamster bollocks.
Yeah, hamster bollocks.
On top of playing him, if you're going to play him, you've got to play with the knowledge that he's on the fucking pitch and counter attack and leave him up there and whatever. I was watching it. I watched it with my missus, right? And she was like trying to get proper involved with it because it's a United game, and I was like, the pressing's insane. There's a moment, right, where Virgil van Dijk's got the ball and he's just about to pass it to Andy Robertson, and then Robertson passes it back to him, and Bruno Fernandes sprints from his own half at full pelt.
Come on, lads!
At both of them, and both of them look at him like, "Are you 11 years old?" Do you know, like when you go and watch like a under 6 game, and wherever the ball is, there's like 22 children. It was like that, because he's just sprinting at and they're just like, "Well, I'll just kick it back to him then." And there's no one pressing him. And then
You're playing piggy in the middle with him, basically.
Yeah, and then Wan-Bissaka goes, "Do you need me, do you?" And he comes sprinting. That's where the first goal comes from. And he just sprints up, and Robertson's like, "Okay, well, I'll just give it to Jota then." And the space just opens up immediately because everyone's pressing 5, 6, 7 seconds after they're supposed to. It's just tactically inept. And the whole time this is happening, Ronaldo is just stood watching them, helping no one. Like, I've got zero experience of managing a football club, and I believe I could get Man United playing a slightly better system than the one they're currently playing.
Yeah, it's true, isn't it? Yeah. But that's it. But they're all bowing down at the altar to the cult of Cristiano Ronaldo, and that's why they fucked it. It's mad. It makes no sense. But it's because I think it was a point you were kind of hitting on earlier, Adam, is that everyone got lost in this. Well, what's he going to do to Man United's overall rating on FIFA? It's going to improve it, isn't he? He's better than Cavani. So, like, you know, and on paper, when you sign those players, you've got Ronaldo, and there's too many people, and that's fine. You can consume football in a variety of different ways. And there's a little part of me, it's like the guy who wants to be put back into the Matrix, and he's eating a steak, and he's like, I know this is just a random ones and zeros, but you know, ignorance is bliss. There's people who just consume football at really top line level who go, good players. Yeah, shit, goal, you know, and shoot, lads. And fair play to them, because you know that sounds like a much more pleasurable way at times to actually enjoy football.
Rather than sat analysing everything,
compulsively, forensically poring over every aspect of your football club, from the accounts to the blades of grass on the pitch, but too many people got swept up in that in the summer, and our fans were bad for it as well. Like, we looked at United and went, "Oh my God, look what they're doing! They're signing Ronaldo. What a statement of intent!" Completely overlooking the fact that all the things that it's not what he can do; it's all the things he can't do. And now every time it goes wrong, the camera now has got another person to cut to, and Ronaldo's not soft because he understands his value, and he understands how he tries to get his face out there. That's how you put yourself on the pedestal. See, Salah's doing it at the moment, which is the right thing to do. If you want to be called the best player on the planet, you've got to be on telly as much as possible in people's eyes. But Ronaldo now knows that, but also knows that it's fucked. And he's now, every facial expression.
So he's just embarrassed.
No, but it's true. It's like, you know, and everything's fucked at Manchester United. Here's Ronaldo! And he's going, oh my God.
Have you seen the thing with his arms? No. So it's after Liverpool score, I think it's the third goal, Salah's first. And there's a little clip, I'll show you it when we take a break on after the show, right? So he's literally, you can see in soft focus in the background, all the Liverpool players hugging each other for the goal. And he's looking at the bench, going like this. And you can tell from his face, it's sarcastic.
Yeah.
Because there's moments where Ollie's on the touchline doing all this, if anyone knows what the fuck he's on about.
Yeah.
So Ronaldo literally just looks at him and goes,
yeah,
like this. He's like, we don't know what you want us to do.
Yeah, he's doing the Harlem Shake, was it? Remember that?
I can't believe I haven't seen that yet.
Oh, it's brilliant.
But no, that's it. And so you've now got these and hard cut to, and we saw the best example of it was, of course, Alex Ferguson. And then contrasted by Kenny Dalglish. But you cut to Ollie's miserable looking face, you cut to Ronaldo, and you cut to this. And of course, Ronaldo, who's gone from being... And it reminds me a little bit of what happened to Loris Karius in that regard of, here's a guy who, because he's all over the Instagram, you know, he's got a strong social game and it's all about looking cool and looking thing. And then all of a sudden, you've become a point of ridicule. And when your whole persona's built around being, just looking boss and being dead good, but everyone's now just pointing and laughing at you, player. That's a very difficult mental shift. Again, Andros Townsend knew that if he scored, he was going to do that Ronaldo celebration to piss him off.
Yeah.
And Ronaldo's now chosen to be... He's having to live out all of his worst nightmares of what happens when I'm not the best of footy anymore. And like, what's the worst way you can fall off a cliff? Liverpool had it a bit with Gerrard. I mean, they're obviously having to deal with the slip stuff.
Yeah.
But obviously Gerrard was never also the ego.
Yeah.
You know, and that tower where the entire world is like, you know, watching and looking, and because, you know,
I've got no sympathy for that though, because if you live out your life, it's like anything. If you live out your life on social media and you share everything, you know, we see it with like reality TV stars and that, you know what I mean, and they put everything on social media, and then when the shit hits the fan, they expect a level of kind of anonymity, or expect the whole world to not go ha 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 ha. Yeah. And it's like, no, if you want to dance with the devil, then you know what I mean. That's to be expected.
it's just glorious.
Just on the I just want to tell you my favourite thing I've seen. You know the little video of Fergie, then Kenny, that's going around, and obviously there's been 1,000 tweets about it. My favourite one was the two dads at a wedding when someone makes a sex joke in their best man speech.
That's exactly what it is. Father of the bride, father of the groom.
That's a wonderful segue from Rowe, actually, by the way, because I want to draw everyone's attention to the new T-shirts we've just launched on Redmen merch, which is exactly this.
I can't believe you've done that.
Yeah, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. We do have the celebratory 5-goal win T-shirts. There's two designs. There's the one that's got the fathers of the bride and groom version. Yeah, we'll sort one out for you there, mate. With 5-goal wins, it's available in a whole range of colours. If you can get that up again for us, Tom. Yeah, you can see. You can get it in grey. You can get it in green. You can get it in navy. You can get it in like a nice, you know, dark red colour and all that kind of stuff. And if you're not there on the wind up, there is just the scoreboard version as well. But I'll be honest, there's two versions, and there's one that is sold significantly better than the other.
Any indication as to how well
it's the one with
thought.
Kenny Dalglish laughing his cock off at Alex Ferguson's expense. So yeah, get them on redmenmerch.com right now. They are selling like hotcakes, so don't miss out on all of that. It was there was so many just wonderful moments from that, and I think in particular that of just, you couldn't have made that better, where it's like someone sat there, and I've been inside like the television truck before when they've got the million screens laid out in front of them, and I don't know who the director was, but there's no way they've not like gone, oh my god, because they'll have a camera on him, and they'll have a camera on him, and you can see it in front of him, go, oh my god, oh my god, right, cue up camera 146 and get camera 147 ready to go in 3, 2, 1. Go! And they've gone to it, and they're like, cut over to celebratory moments.
I like the idea that the director's a massive scouser, and those two things those two reactions didn't happen simultaneously.
Yeah.
They're actually at different points, and they've clipped a little bit of Kenny laughing, and then they've gone, right, just film Alex Ferguson until he looks miserable. Yeah, that bit, okay, and we'll splice them to
It's funny, yeah, genuinely. Like, I just like the idea of like this Fergie miserable. He's gone, Is Kenny Dalglish in the crowd? Can we get a camera on Kenny?
Can somebody tickle Kenny? Can somebody tickle Kenny's feet? Perfect.
I like your idea. It's funny because someone highlighted the video. It was on Man United forum or something. It was or about how Man United players trying to get Solskjaer sacked, and they used this video clip of, did Gerrard miss on purpose to get Hodgson sacked? And I made that video like however 10 years ago, whatever it would have been now. And in the video, and I did like an inner monologue for Gerrard, voiceover for it, and he's about to take the penalty, and then he looks over to the side, and then it cuts to Roy Hodgson, and this analysis of this was, Gerrard looked over and saw Roy Hodgson and decided to miss, and he never. I cut that picture of Roy Hodgson into that video, but now that exists and people think that's genuinely what happened. I had to go and watch the whole match and find a bit of Roy Hodgson looking a bit sad. So it looks like Gerrard looks over, goes, fuck that, and then misses the penalty. But I like the idea that we're now doing that. So yeah, just to follow on from it, the Athletic are reporting that they are going to be sticking with Ole. It's mad. It's like, we've had this, so we've done this when it's not worked for Liverpool, and it's that misquoted thing of like, madness is repeating the same thing and expecting different results. But like...
But it's completely misplaced loyalty. Like, why are the board loyal to Ole Gunnar's, like... I don't get it. I do not get it. He was a fucking substitute for most of his career.
It goes back to Neville's. I know it's right. I saw a great. I wish I could remember who it was. It might have been Dan Morgan or something tweeted this. Like, this is not like one of their greats.
Yeah, right.
This is a fucking. This is like. This is
Lucas.
Not Kenny, no, it's not Kenny.
He's a hero.
No, it's not Kenny Dalglish. It's David Fairclough, and he is a hero. Yeah. But he's not a hero in the same level that Rush or Dalglish.
Should get rid. You know what I mean?
No, don't. It's funny.
No,
they're
don't
not watching, are they?
Yeah, but you'll find a lot of United fans will be because we've been a bit incendiary.
Because you called the show "Let's Laugh at United," Paul. Is that why they're watching?
Welcome aboard, Man United fans. I apologise. I don't, because it's Schadenfreude, a bitch. It's like it's what we've been waiting for all this time.
Do you know what would be really, really, really great? If they beat City somehow.
Yeah.
They're not going to. But, like, in fact, they might actually put 8 or 9 past them because they won't.
And they'll be living in the world where that's possible because they've got a great record against them. But more than likely, the way it's gone, there's levels to this stuff. And Man United are not in that league. And I said this, is that they were 4 points behind us going into the game. So a win over us would have put them a point behind. And they're right in there. But in reality, and we're at that stage of the season where... you either keep pace, and Liverpool were in a similar position with Chelsea, by the way. So if we'd lost that, we'd have been 4 points behind Chelsea, and that would have been you've had enough of the season now where you can start to extrapolate how the season's going to go, and it doesn't always go that way because football's amazing. But when something's fundamentally wrong at your footy club, it doesn't go the right way. It just stretches out, and they are, they're going to end up in a fight for top 4. I didn't think it would happen this soon. I thought they'd get to January, and
if they keep Ole at the club, there's absolutely no chance they finish in the top 4.
It's mad, isn't it?
If he finishes this season as Manchester United manager, they might not finish in the top 6, 7. And I don't think what I'm saying is really debatable. Then they're not going to be in the top 4.
Well, the thing
not with
is,
West Ham there, not with Leicester are now recovering and they're starting to play the best football again.
Maybe you're right, but I mean, the thing is, they've got that many good players that when they get back to the business of playing the bottom 14 teams in the league, they'll probably win most of them because they've got the players to do it.
They won't, and I'll tell you why they won't. Because they're gonna keep playing Ronaldo. And tactically, they've got no idea what they're doing. And yeah, Burnley are shit, but they know what they're meant to be doing. They know how they're meant to be shit. United don't even know how to be shit at the minute. Like, they've got no plan.
It's just a veil of, like, that's been over them. It's been a loose veil of, like, hope. And we can see through it because we've been that before, and it's recognisable. And these are all recognisable responses, and everything they're doing. And it's that living on nostalgia. Fuck me, like we've lived off Istanbul until 3 years ago. We have been dining out on Istanbul, and the table was starting to get a little bit bare. You know what I mean? It was like it was like toothpaste. By the last days of a roll of toothpaste, where you are, you know what I mean? Like you're a bit nonchalant in the first week with how much toothpaste you used.
We were weeks away from chopping the other end off the tube.
Genuinely, that's where we were at with it, and they're like that with 99. It's like Arsenal rolling out the Invincibles stuff. It starts to run a bit, run its course. And they've had that, they've got the nostalgia factor, and then they're going on this thing of you can look again the second place. We finished second, not failing to just being so insular and looking entirely at their football club and not being able to contextualise compared to everything else, because it's hard. You don't recognise it because. When we had this, God knows, I started 11 years we've been doing this. So I've started seasons and gone, oh, maybe, because we had Gerrard we still had Gerrard and we still had Carragher, and there was a time when we had like Torres at the start of the Hodgson.
We've always had a player. We've always had a player or two players.
And so, but the point is, because you can tie it back to when you were good, you feel like you're watching the same team, but you lose context for how good or bad your players are, or your manager is, or your tactics are. And there was like Roy Hodgson. We made a case for Roy Hodgson when he came in. We had to. He was the manager, and we started to look for what might be good and what might be applicable to tell us that it was going to be all all right because we're Scousers were glass half full people at the best of times, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, they're going through all this stuff, and it's just lovely because, again, it's recognisable. I've been that person, and it's hilarious that I'm not it anymore.
Is that famous clip of Payjack with Stephen from the United fan channel?
Oh God,
where he's like, you
clip.
don't even recognise that you're years away from anything. You're going through it, and the best thing is you don't even know it yet.
Yeah.
And they'll look, because, let's be honest, Jurgen Klopp's going to leave at some point, and whether the next manager is Pep Linders, Steven Gerrard, the guy from Brentford, or whoever else it is, it could go badly wrong, and we could end up right back where United are. And let's not kid ourselves, that dark days will come back to Liverpool Football Club. This does not last forever, and but we've been through it, and we've seen it before. And maybe next time we'll be like, oh, it's this again, isn't it?
Yeah.
But they haven't had it yet.
Yeah.
There's no Man United fan alive who's experienced it.
Exactly. They've got an entire generation of fans who know nothing but unqualified success, and they don't know how to deal with it. They haven't got that generation now, and we've got like three now, and now a new one started for us. You've got the super entitled fucking knobheads who now support our club, who've really only supported Liverpool for 5 years and have only seen us be boss. But you've got like your granddad who might remember before, you know, the winning the first FA Cup final and that being a big deal for Liverpool in '65. So it was being good, but not like before we were a European superpower. Your dad's era, that we were the kings of Europe and we won the league all the time and we won FA Cups galore. Then you've got sort of our era, which is we still won most things, but we did it really hard. We would do it in the most dramatic of fashions. And then there was that little spell where we won nothing. United fans are all, we've just won everything forever, and they've got no like. They have to speak to their granddad to be like, Granddad, what was it like when we were crap? And it's like, oh bloody hell, right? They've got to call upon the elders in their tribes to tell them what it was like when it was shite. And even they have got like a real, it's tinted with nostalgia because it's through the prism of being conquering everything in that period. It's amazing. Genuinely love the fact that
I do. It's just sort of come to me. I do think that a half decent manager coming into United, I don't think it's going to take a huge amount to make them successful though. I really don't. I don't imagine there's a world where you get a new manager in and they finish out of the top four.
No. Do you know what I mean? A decent manager will get them into the top four because of the squad and the talent they've got. Yeah. But Liverpool, Chelsea and City have got elite managers.
Yeah, no question.
Like elite. And they've got the talent. So, yeah, a half-decent manager with United squad will get them fourth. I don't know whether they penetrate that top three. A fully fit top three.
They certainly don't compete for a league title or a Champions League.
But to the point, look, again, I know Liverpool had lots of other things going for them, team spirit, understanding, they've got a world-class coach and they've got all the things, all the marginal gains are in place at Liverpool as well, which is how Liverpool have had it. They didn't just go Klopp. It's not people go, it's Klopp, but it is, but it's also the geniuses they surround them with. I don't do this like, who's a football genius? I mean like PhDs work at Liverpool on mathematical models that help us in really teeny tiny little, genuinely like, Thomas Gronnemar, free kick coach, psychology, all that kind of stuff. And
dietitians, the lot.
Exactly. Mo and Nema doing the nutrition kind of stuff. Got all these kind of amazing super geniuses around it. It's not like when they go, well, we need a director of football, let's get Darren Fletcher because he fucking understands. It's like, no, we've got a guy who like is a freak over numbers and statistics and all that kind of stuff. He does these things for us.
Playing Moneyball, but with backroom staff.
Yeah.
Rather than on the pitch.
Yeah, exactly.
That's nice.
Yeah. No, but all over the place. So you can do better with what they've got, because to the point that I've kind of undermined with what I've said there, but we got the third in the league with our 7th and 8th choice centre halves last season effectively in place, because a good manager can get better out of, an artist can get you a tune out of any instrument.
Yeah.
They haven't got that. In place, so you could get someone who's just a really good coach, could definitely come in and get. Well,
United have currently got their first and second choice centre backs in place, and they look worse than Phillips and Williams did at any point last year.
Absolutely, and all that. They're just a, and it's a thing of it falls down on the midfield. Like McTominay's is fine, and Fred. Let's be honest, we've been a bit of a laughing thing, and it's seeing.
Just move him out of the way.
Pushing him away.
Do you know how young girl would have to be for me to be able to move her the way he moved. Fred.
4-year-old.
Yeah.
That's like when kids go, can we do wrestling? And I go, yeah, and I can do all the moves on them. It's great. Yeah, I can choke slam. You can do power bombs. You can't do that to a normal.
And he does it with a smile on his face as well, which is the best. But he's like, what are you doing, lad? Yeah. You are going there.
No, there.
And you, mate.
I'll do it to you again. I can do this all day. Yeah. But that's the point. They think that they all complain about. They're just fine, aren't they? And the fact that they're desperate for Pogba to come in that team, you've got to get Pogba in it. They keep coming full circle on these things. Like, Pogba's not good enough. Pogba's the problem. No, Pogba's got to be in midfield. He's got to. It's just wonderful. It's so good. I said this, and I've said it, and I'll repeat it again. Liverpool, everything to do with Liverpool is me best. It's my favourite. It's life, and every aspect of my life. But my second best thing, I said, I don't have other sports, so I'm not like an England cricket fan. I can get enjoyment from a variety of things, but I'm not passionate about another sport or another sport team or another football team.
Exactly the same.
My second passion is Man United being shit. And so I go
said with his whole chest.
No. Liverpool, look at the score. If Liverpool won, yes, then the weekend can't get topped. It can't be better, but you can put a sprinkling of something on top if United have also lost, and that's all they are. They're an added topping to and sometimes it's like you haven't got any tea bags in, but you've got a spoonful of sugar. That's what Man United is. If we've lost, but United lose, it's a little bit of something. It's like having a quid on something.
I love the idea of you going, there's no tea bags in, so I'm just going to eat this spoonful of sugar.
Yeah.
Oh, almost as good.
I know, but I've got nothing in the cupboards of it. Yeah. Just whatever it takes. But a little bit of happiness. So seeing United be shit is just absolutely, it's delicious, it's wonderful, it's everything I need in addition to Liverpool being the best. It's the best of worlds. There's part of me that goes, wouldn't it be great if the two teams were neck and neck? No, because there's too much at stake. Like the idea that when we got knocked out
that
the Champions
victory
League,
would be sweeter though. Winning that title race,
but I don't know. I mean, you're right, and you are right. But I couldn't conscionably wish that into existence. If it happens, it happens.
Yeah.
But I remember that when we got knocked out in the Champions League semi-finals, and it would have been us versus United in the Champions League final. I don't think I could have
watched it.
I don't know. I don't think
I still felt sick at 2-0 up the other day.
Yeah,
I felt sick.
Yeah,
watching it at 2-0 up.
And it tells you a lot about it does tell you a lot about the good players they've got. That's the point. That I did feel like they could have done
they've got game changers all over the pitch, but they just can't make them play together. It's that jigsaw analogy.
The problem is that they're all over the pitch.
Yeah.
We got loads of amazing comments from you guys, and I'm going to fly through some of them in the live chat now. LSC Malta saying, it's not crass, mate. It's lovely, actually. Absolutely priceless. Let's just bask in the lovely dressing down we gave these tossers. Yeah, definitely. Owen Wilson with the super chat. Wow, good to see another funny man dropping in there. Seeing a lot out there saying how bad United were without giving proper respect to Liverpool. United have been shite all season. It took us to batter them. Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Because United, people have deep down known Liverpool are really good, but they've been trying to create a narrative where there's problems. Whereas
Gary Neville said it, didn't he?
Exactly. But deep down also people have known United are crap, and they've done the reverse opposite. So the story is more interesting. Negative stories are always more interesting than positive stories. Gary Neville doesn't want to talk about. No one wants to ask Gary Neville about how good Liverpool are. They want to ask him about how shit Man United are.
And actually, I don't actually disagree with that narrative either. Actually, that it was more that they were shit rather than we were brilliant, because we weren't brilliant.
We weren't. We kept giving the ball away in the first half. The only time they got the ball was when we did something stupid.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, it wasn't a vintage performance from us, but
need to be.
But I've liked the analysis. It's like Liverpool didn't even get out of second or third gear, and I think it's absolutely spot on. And the fact that we spent half an hour just there was that famous World Cup game where they had to change the rulings of how the final group games were played, and I think it's like Italy. Basically, two teams knew that a draw would see them both through, so they basically didn't play. They just kept the ball. Yeah. And didn't. No one tried to win the game because there was no need. It was a bit like we did that on our own. Yeah. It was like the game was won. There's no need for anyone to get injured or tired here. It was
hilarious.
Yeah, just
that last 20 minutes is one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life. It's
funnier.
It's so cocky.
Yeah.
And it's so like it was like we were looking at them going, we could make this 8, but we don't want to.
There's a point where if it goes to 8, maybe actually you undermine yourself. You look up, it goes a bit sad, like you know what I mean, like in like a bit like oh no, like come on, that's a bit much. You know what I mean? It's a bit
guys,
much,
Corley's
like,
already dead.
Yeah, they've got families. These people, like you know what I mean, like they're human beings at the end. But like the idea that we didn't, and instead chose not to. Yeah, definitely. Rich and Baz with the super chat saying, so upset I was stuck in work for the game. The highlights of you guys laughing at the disallowed goal made my day though. You guys are class. Like that was one of my favourite moments. I just didn't know how to deal with it because it was such a non-moment them scoring that I literally we had biscuits there, so I thought I'll have a biscuit because there's no point. But the fact that we then went through VAR and it gets ruled off, and that tickled my funny bone in a way that I couldn't really describe, because that small glimmer of something being taken away from them, because it was a good finish, hell of a finish. Absolutely had Karate and Trent on toast. Great little step over there. Ronaldo, wonderful finish past the goalie. Yeah. Great. Robbed from them.
What's the Boise laugh?
Oh, God. Yeah, oh, my God. Bruce Chua saying Firmino is back to his best. He is indeed. It was great to see Klopp actually extolling his virtues, because for too long we'd kind of had a bit of Bobby disrespect kind of creeping into conversations. But no, he was absolutely unreal. Virgil van Bonk said Paul do more away days again. After that, I don't often get totally jealous of away ends.
So jealous.
And I had no intent. I probably wouldn't have gone to that game anyway, because we were chatting about this before, and it was a bit hairy when I went the last time. And I don't like the idea that you can go and get your head kicked in outside of football grounds. Not really what I go to footy for.
You mean because you're such a visible Liverpool fan?
Yeah. It's just that's it. I'm more no, but it is. But you become very aware that it only takes one person going, yeah,
there's that guy.
Yeah, and you're in trouble. It's not what I go to footy for, to be honest. That's why Chris does his Clark Kent trick whenever we play Chelsea, where he either, I can't remember whether he takes his glasses off or puts them on, whichever he's not on that famous video, he does the opposite and that's his, and it proves that it works.
Comedy moustache and...
Yeah, definitely. John Harrison says it's the job Rodgers is holding out for. I did think this, that as much as Brendan Rodgers I think he's got a ceiling, he's a much better manager than Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
I actually... this is not a very popular thing with Liverpool fans. I think Brendan Rodgers is actually very, very, very good.
Yeah. Oh, he is. He's a really good man.
I don't think that's an unpopular opinion.
And I think the year it went to shit at Liverpool, people forget he lost Luis Suarez. Gerrard wasn't the player he was anymore. And then he got divorced and his kids moved away with his ex-wife.
Yeah.
And I don't care who you are. Those personal issues in your personal life, they're going to affect your mood walking into Melwood. They're going to affect, let's go and get this fucking done. Then I've got to go and speak to that lawyer because she wants a few million quid off me or whatever it is. He had an horrible year after, okay, people often credit Suarez with being the manager of that team and getting us to a title. No. Liverpool were tactically brilliant that year. Yep. He's a very, very, very good manager. And if he gets another big job with money behind him, because he's done a great job at Leicester.
He was learning on the job at Liverpool, don't forget, as well. He was still a young
let's
manager.
Let's not forget as well, they had a year where he couldn't drink tea or coffee because he spent that much money getting his teeth whitened and he didn't want to do the work. So that's going to impact your ability to perform.
No caffeine.
Yeah. Drinking red wine through a straw.
I would be quite worried if United got Brendan Rodgers, and I think that would be a much better appointment than it would be given credit for immediately.
I just don't think he's enough of a yes man. I don't think he'd pacify the board and the owners and everything that surrounds it. They want yes men. You saw it with Mourinho.
Yeah,
Mourinho. Who you say earlier. His powers had waned. He wasn't the same manager, and even he went, fuck this.
Yeah,
I'm in charge or not. It'd be a sort of job where Gareth Southgate, if you could lure him away from the England job, he's someone that I think the United board.
That would make me so
but
happy if they gave Gareth Southgate the job.
But he's a yes man.
Yeah.
He wouldn't rock the boat, and you know he's good with young players.
The funny thing is there's a world where they might not consider Zidane as a better option because of Gary Neville's arguments of we've tried big name managers before, and what we need is someone who wants to buy into a long term project. And I don't disagree with that. They do need that. They need both. They're Man United. They can't afford to do what we did with Brendan Rodgers, is have a guy come in and be like, oh, I think this. Let's try this. No, you want a guy to come in with absolute surety.
You want Jurgen Klopp.
Well, no, exactly. And they fucked that, didn't they? Because they're not the same level of appeal that we are. They tried to get Klopp, and he was like, I don't, it's like they treated it like Disneyland, didn't they? As opposed to it being like a proper entity.
He said that, didn't he?
He said it with you. They tried to sell him as like the theatre of dreams shite, and what like Jürgen wanted was like to get a real feel for the culture of the place. So they did the wrong pitch. But Brendan Rodgers would be a decent appointment for him. It would be very Brendan's story around it. You know, oh, I was a boy. What I didn't mention this whole time was I was in fact a boyhood Manchester United fan. Oh yeah, my dad just took me to Manchester and we'd smell the great cooking smells going on around.
However much, and I'm with you. I think he's terrific, but he's never lost that kind of David Brent.
No, he hasn't.
Has he?
No.
You just go, oh, Dad, will you just?
Yeah.
Will you just
But,
not?
Yeah, I absolutely do not want Brett, because he as well, and this would have happened at Liverpool if things didn't go the way they did. He could be there for 10 years. He's looking for a job to create a bit of a legacy, Brendan. He wants to be a guy. He's got that ego, that David Brent. I'm the boss and I've done all this. And if Suarez had stayed or things had been different at Liverpool, he could have been a really long-term manager at Liverpool Football Club. And if United give Brendan Rodgers that chance, they will win things.
Yeah. It's just whether they just need someone who will come in and say to Ronaldo, you're just an impact player here, mate.
He's coming on at 75.
And he did it to Gerrard.
Did he though? He ended up having to he basically made Gerrard leave the football club.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. He went to Gerrard, you're going to be an impact player or there's no new contract. And Gerrard went, well, I'm going to go then. And that's what happened with Ronaldo.
Yeah. Link with everything. There's no way in hell that he takes the Man United job, but that would be, I mean...
for a laugh.
Oh my God, that would be like it'd be like the Rafa at Everton thing times 100, wouldn't it? You know what I mean? Gerrard there.
Just never happened.
Never not going to happen.
It's just not even worth discussing. Like when Rafa went to Everton, I was just like, all right, lad. Yeah. You want to live on the Whittle? Okay. Yeah, crack on. You're past your best. They're never going to win anything. If you all just want to be happy, fine, and then they're not anyway. But Gerrard got into United. No. That's just not.
No, he's taken over from Klopp.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Hey, Hitchenbaz's back again. There's a rumour that oh, sorry, I've just read that one. Trig Josh, regarding Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher, have you seen that movie Scanners where that dude's head explodes? Yeah, that was very much like Gary. I mean, it's just amazing. And that's the thing about it. Gary Neville being the front man for a bunch of things that are nothing to do with him is just great. He's tried all this time to try and prove his neutrality, and he ends up being the spokesperson for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer because he's refused to just go, I think he's a bit crap. You know, and because of that, he's now got to go on Sky Sports. But Carragher is like just rubbing his hands together, waiting for the next Monday night footy. Yeah.
Both just smiling at him, going, "Go on, say it. Go on, say it. Yeah. Say the real reason. Go on." The
line on his head just getting deep. It looked like it was there, so you could put a quid in it to hear his opinion. Yeah, that's like what you think. I think he's doing all right.
James Cavs says, to me, the Ole situation is similar to Chelsea's situation with Lampard as manager. You had the players, but he lacked experience and coaching ability, 100%. It's like, and you have these situations in life where, I remember Everton had Moyes and we had Dalglish, and we got to 2 cup finals and we won the League Cup that season. And I think we finished within a place where it was like 7th and 8th, and I can't remember whether we finished 7th and 8th, finished 8th or whatever. But we sacked our legendary, the greatest player ever to play, the greatest servant the club's ever, the greatest spokesperson, the soul and embodiment, the living soul and embodiment of Liverpool Football Club. We sacked him because we felt he was underperforming. We needed more. We needed a long-term vision. And Everton rewarded David Moyes with a new contract. And that was the difference between the two football clubs. And that's where United are at, is that, you know, you need to have bollocks. Like, we sacked Rodgers because Klopp was there, and we went and got Klopp. We sacked Dalglish because they wanted to put a new plan in place. And Chelsea did it to let Lampard go. Lampard might have done more. He might have improved. You know, but the point is, he was a young coach. He might have been able to get better. And
he's got that job far too early.
Yeah. Is there not something in like the kind of arrogance of a former player being a manager who supposedly loves the club but won't just kind of go, listen, I'm out of my depth here? Because the thing with Kenny getting sacked was there was no fuss around it, there was no drama around it, there wasn't really any headlines. It was just kind of like, thanks so much for coming in when we really needed you, mate, but long term. And he was like, sound, I'm just going to go and sit in the stands then. That's
have a season ticket.
Do you know,
I can't.
Sound, and you're going to name it fucking Sound.
Yeah.
But there's something about the kind of like, Ollie must know that he's out of his depth.
Yeah, but he's getting paid £10 million a year. And if he resigns,
but he says he loves.
But I also think
I don't care. Like, I don't care how much you love anything. He's got what, 2 or 3 years left on his contract. If he resigns, he is literally going, keep that £30 million. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, no, that's a good point on that one. But it also, he's copying the latter days of Alex Ferguson. He's obviously got a direct line to him, and Alex Ferguson's it's a bit like it was like Kenny coming back. You say he was the only Liverpool manager to have won the Premier League and having won it with Blackburn, and he had some great experience and he knew Liverpool inside and out, but he'd been removed from the game that bit too long, and football moves on. And it doesn't feel like a long time, but it's been a long time since Ferguson was in management. And if he's influencing Ole in any way, the fact that they got Phelan back, who was another one who was like Fergie's last assistant pretty much around that time, footy's moved on, and they've got it like Carrick. Great. I don't know how good Carrick is as a coach. Maybe he's amazing. Maybe he's the future. But
he's there because he played for Man United, and not because he's a good coach.
Yeah,
that's the point, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's no one at Liverpool Football Club now who are there because they used to be at Liverpool Football Club.
Everyone got booted, and that's the point. We had Achterberg in the other week, and the reason, I wasn't sure why Achterberg was there for a while until I got to speak to him, and it's because he is obsessive. He's a goalkeeping nerd, and he literally, you're not going to get anyone who knows or analyses goalkeeping to the level that he does. You know, Jürgen surrounds himself by passionate, knowledgeable people. And you don't know what the structure is behind Manchester. It feels like they're fucked from top to bottom, and I have more to talk about it. The harder it is to contain me smiles. It's great. Trick Josh, another super chat regarding Ronaldo. Ollie's lost the dressing room. Ronaldo orchestrated the display with visions on player manager. Is that thing, we're on that countdown to there's 2 looming stories. There's Paul Pogba's contract, which is winding down, and that
is he up this summer?
Pogba, yeah. He can, yeah, exactly. So they've got this story. It's not being talked about just yet. Yeah, I know.
He's gonna leave for free again.
Yeah, again.
Oh, that is like finding your missus shagging the same guy twice.
Yeah. It's just fucking brilliant. Genuinely, it's just amazing, isn't it? But that's not even a story yet. Because it's going to get to January, he's going to be allowed to speak to other clubs, and then every moment of every football match where he's not, all the cameras are going to be on him, and that's to come. That's the crisis to come. We're not even there yet. The crisis at the moment is what every time Ronaldo gets subbed off and he's stood behind Ole pointing at players, telling them where to go. It's the Euros final waiting to happen. Yeah, I agree. That's why I say I'm calling it. About that. Yeah, I'm calling him Ronaldo for player manager. It'll just happen. If anything happens, because they won't sack him. They'll give him to the end of the season. Now that'll take a weird, different kind of huge balls. So fair play to them if they do stick out with this shite for the rest of the season. That's mad. Like that utter madness and dross, just out of pure bloody mindedness, is fantastic in its own way. But the point is that they go, I'm never going dead with surety. They're not going to sack him. They will, Gary, because the fans walked out with 45 minutes to go. There was 30,000 less people in Old Trafford by the time the game finished. That'll happen more and more. Like, I know, like you mentioned Steve Howson before, I watched this post-match video. I was like, why is he here live streaming? He got off with 10 minutes to go. And that's what happens when your fans stop walking through the door or stop walking out of the door.
It's bad for the brand, and that's what they are ultimately, is a brand and a business rather than a football club. Yeah. So as soon as all of the everything around your club is negative, from the fans to the pundits to everybody, is basically I'm just laughing at your football club. That's bad for the brand.
The only way they're going to hit upon a way to survive this is to say you're allowed to protest at Old Trafford, but you have to pay for the ticket to get in. You can protest on the pitch, but it costs £30 to get in. It's the only way they'll fill it. John Rhodes, nice to see Adam talking footy again. Maybe time for Ole to hit the couch and have a word. The man's clearly a joke. Someone needs to have a word with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, don't they?
He's welcome whenever he fucking wants.
There's an open invitation to the Have a Word pod. I think that's right. We can't have him in here.
Best thing he ever does.
But a nice balanced general life podcast.
So, Ollie, let's talk about your accent.
Isn't it grand? John Rhodes, nice to see. Oh, sorry, that one. Sorry, Rafa's Reds, Liverpool 5, United 0. Social distancing at its finest. Nick Garcia's joined as a member. Thank you so much. And John Harrison, talking about, I think, going back to the Brendan Rodgers who boot Jürgen out of his house. I think Liverpool have actually. I found out Liverpool actually bought the house off Brendan.
And just give it to you.
So the Liverpool own it and then I'll lease it back out.
It's not quite as nice as the original story, is it?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, funny that though, wasn't it? That he was living in. It's like the closest you'd ever get to being above Jürgen.
In his box room.
Yeah, definitely. Fantastic. Listen, we were going to do a bit looking ahead to Preston, but who's asked? We'll do that. We'll do that with the watch along. Yeah. Right? Yeah, we'll just do that. Watch along. Actually, just to give people keep a little bit up to date, just so we're not totally, detaching ourselves from the reality. No Conor Bradley, James Balagizi, Musnialowski, Gordon or Morton in the under-23s that played last night or played yesterday, so very good chance that they will all be involved with the Preston squad. We'll have to make some new player cards, I think, for the watch along, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. That's always how we do things here on Redmen. Yes, thank you so much, gents. That's been an absolute unparalleled pleasure. Do go and check out the Have a Word podcast. Do make sure you follow James on Twitter, and if you want more from us, do check out Redmen Plus at our Liverpool streaming service. We've done the Final Word show because we can still go back and laugh at it. 60 minutes talking about Liverpool beating United 5-0. What greater pleasure on earth could there be after having experienced it ourselves? There is also the, as aforementioned, In Conversation with Adam. So you want more of me and Adam just having a good old chat about life and the Reds, then do go and get over there and check that out as well. Just go and have a look. It's brilliant. Redmen, theredmentv.com, join Redmen Plus, and have a little feel for everything that we do over there. Perfect time, because the Reds are the absolute best. Yes, lads, great. I mean, we're just going to carry these conversations on off air.
Go and sit in that room. And
let's go have a break and carry the chat on. Thank you so much for joining us for the podcast in video or in audio form. I hope to see it over on Redmen Plus. All the best. Thanks so much for checking out the show this week. If you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, then do. But if you want more from us, extra Redmen shows, then go to the redmentv.com. You can support the channel at 2 levels, by Club Captain or Club Legend tier. Both get you a full suite of Liverpool-related content, extra Redmen shows, documentaries, features, and world-exclusive interviews. And Club Legends get their names here and on the end of those videos, and free merchandise as well. Perfect time to sign up on the redmentv.com.